Don't cry cause it ain't gon' rain every day. Don't despair cause it ain't your way. Keep it real, make the best out of any situation that you come across. Some lose, some lost, I'ma shake it off and get back to what I'm really about. Give the crowd something to feel. Tell me why you scream.
Welcome back to the Jonessa Podcast.
Conversations from the couch.
Wow, that was a long break.
Yes, it was.
What happened?
Life happened. And I hate when people say, oh, I just got so busy. But we got so busy.
We did. I can't even remember what month we left off on.
January.
I
think it was January.
No. Mm-hmm. You sure? I think it was February.
Oh, wow. That's a big difference.
I think it was February.
Okay, January, February. I mean, that's pretty much the same. Remember, like, we did it was like an episode about, like, what our plans were for the year.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's in January. Almost certain.
Oh, my goodness. I missed it, though.
Yeah.
People have been asking about it, man. That's so flattering.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird to meet people in real life that have listened to the podcast. I don't get used to that. Like, people are like, oh, yes, I listened to your podcast. And I'm like, oh, man. Like, because if you listen to the Jonessa Podcast,
yes,
you know us. Like,
yes, we
are cousins. Like, and so whenever they say, I just cringe. I'm like, oh, but I don't know. How do you feel when people say it?
I think it's so cool. I just think it's so flattering. Like, it really means a lot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what? Well, yeah, sure.
Yeah, no, I don't.
It does mean a lot. Yeah. Like, we don't take it for granted, but it doesn't make you feel kind of like.
For some reason, it doesn't.
Oh.
I guess because we know the people.
No, well, sometimes.
Well, I don't know. Like, some of the people like come up to you. I don't know them, but
yeah,
like I know like some of the people who listen to it, and I'm like the people who come up to me and like your podcast is so awesome, and like people who like I really like respect, and their words really mean a lot. I think that's so cool.
But I do agree with what you're saying. I do. Like, I get that part, but it's still, maybe because sometimes I can be a private person. Maybe that's it because, like I'll hold things in and like, I don't like people know my business. Yeah. So maybe that's why I feel kind of weird. It is like such an honor.
It is. Mm-hmm. And we're back. I mean, Danessa was busy.
Joe, you know what? I knew it. I told myself, I said, he gonna get on this episode and try to put it all on me.
It wasn't all on you.
But there was a moment that you were busy.
Yes.
You were busy. You were occupied. You had things going on on your end.
Yes.
And so
I found my way.
You found okay.
The prodigal son came back home. I mean.
Oh, so you're a prodigal son. So now you're the prodigal son.
Oh, I did other ventures and you did those ventures for a long time. It was like for a little bit. It was, but I think it's cool that I helped get something because I had, those, I did the Steve Joe podcast and it's an honor to like, because Steve, he had wanted to do a podcast for a while. Yeah. And even though I'm not a part of it to help start it and get him started on that journey, like that's pretty cool. Like to help that person get started on something that they really wanted to do. So, but at the end of the day, this is home. Yeah. The Jonessa Podcast is where my heart is.
Yeah. And it feels so good to be back. There was like a moment I was like during the summer, like the real summer, I was like, okay, let's do it again. Like, let's get back to it. But it just wasn't the right time. And now it feels like the right time.
It does.
We can do it. We can be focused. Yes. We can give our all to it. And do what we need to do. It's very exciting.
It is.
And honestly, I think it's going to sound weird, you all, but we're kind of like different people from the last episodes that we've had. We're not even like the same people anymore, which is weird. We're totally different. Wouldn't you agree?
I mean, I'm always going through cycles, but you have grown so much because, like you shared your story. About you going to therapy and even the last episode, I think you briefly touched on it, how you were actively going to therapy.
Yeah, still and now it's face to face. It's not telehealth anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's even better.
Yeah, and it's funny because I remember you saying I don't know if it's really, but I'm like, I don't want to ruin it for my wife because, you know, I'm a counselor.
Yeah.
And I also did therapy myself. And you don't realize when you're in the moment that it's working, but others can, especially those closer to you. And I could tell.
Oh, so you can tell it's working?
Oh my gosh, yes.
How you gonna tell our cousins? How you gonna tell the Jonessa cousins? And not even tell me that you've seen it change. You never said that before.
Like,
you've never said that before.
Because I didn't want to I didn't want to ruin it for you. I didn't want you to be like. But yes, it's working. You've been doing very well.
Oh, I'm lucky, man.
Yes.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I mean, how do you feel though?
I feel overall good. There's good days and bad days, but I feel a lot better. I feel focused. I feel like I have some techniques. And honestly, I use the techniques that I've been learning. Like sometimes I'll use them like with the kids or just with other people that I'm conversing with that might need advice or something. I'll use those. So it's helped a lot.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I could tell, baby. I could tell.
See? Oh, well, thanks.
Well, I mean, how do you feel that? How has it impacted our marriage? Do you feel like it's impacted it any at all, or?
Yeah, I think it has impacted our marriage because, I mean, if we're just being honest, like I don't always have to come for you for counseling, you know? We talked about how like I would talk to you and that just wasn't fair. And so now I have like my counselor to talk to. And so I feel like it's helped our marriage in that regard because you can be my husband, even though we are best friends. Also, I feel like it's helped me be more honest. And like in a more gentle way and like not just always like brutally honest. And like when you give me some feedback about something, I don't automatically like just go to 10. I'll reflect on what you say and I'll think, okay, all right, I get what he's saying. I understand what he's saying. So I do feel like it's helped our marriage a lot and just helped me to kind of be just a little bit more at ease, especially when I come home. I do feel more at ease when I come home and kind of try to disconnect the work part. So yeah, I feel like it's helped. What do you think?
Your demeanor, like you take things like a lot more gently now, for lack of a better term, like things that may send you into the deep end. Like you don't go into deep end, like you stay in the shallow waters right now, whether it's something that happens at work, whether it's something that happens with like family or friends, like you really don't get upset. Like you really getting close to that, just going with the flow, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
And that's what I've seen the most out of anything, which is cool.
And sometimes I feel like, I would have to agree with that. And sometimes I'm like, man, I think sometimes people want more of a reaction from me. And then I'm like, ooh, like they probably think I don't care. But it's not that I don't care. It's just that I can't give my energy to things like that anymore. Like it's just draining to be on 10. So, and also with work, there's always something constantly. You know how it is. Like even with your job, like something always going on like constantly. So if I gave energy to everything that I came across, I'd be slap worn out, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just best just to think, is this going to be worth it?
Yeah.
Is this really, really worth the energy that I'm going to put into it and give? Like, but you know what? This is another thing I've kind of noticed. Like I've kind of taken a step back. Like I've kind of unplugged in the sense from like, just a lot of things around me. I've just kind of stepped away. Don't you think you've noticed that?
I noticed that.
I'm in that season too. I'm in that season of, okay, I have to kind of refocus, get myself together, concentrate on what's important. Yeah, like now that we're talking about it, I really have taken a step back.
Yes, it's working.
Well, it is. It is.
It's weird because it's therapy, but it's not therapy in the sense that normal people think about therapy. But even like if you think about it in this literal sense, like even if you've done physical therapy before, it doesn't seem like it's working in the moment, but over the time and when you get to the end of it, you're like, oh, I feel better. Like, so it's the same way with, in behavioral therapy. It's the same thing. So
you wouldn't even know that today was a real stressful day.
No.
Today was a real stressful day for me. I had a stressful day, and I just bloop. Okay.
See, you're doing a good job, man. I mean, I'm proud of you. You know how you've grown. Like, it's awesome. Like, I've always wanted this for you. You know that. You know, and it helps our relationship. It helps our marriage, and we're almost 9 years. My bad.
It'll be 9
years next month.
It'll be 9 years next month.
Yeah.
Okay, number one, I still feel like a child. I still feel like I'm at my mama's house. It's weird, but we've been together for 11 years.
Yes.
Married for almost 9 years. And honestly, when we got married, I knew I was like, this is going to last. Like, you know how you know that? But to really be in it and doing the work to make it last, it's almost kind of surreal to think we got married 9 years ago.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it is. But you said like this is, and I feel the same way. Don't get me wrong.
I'm just kidding.
Because I mean, and like for those of you who watch the news, you know, like Steph Curry's parents are getting a divorce,
which is crazy to me.
And you know, looks can always be deceiving. You can't go by what you see on TV, but it appears they've been married so long. They look so happy, and you know where
they had, like their children were like flourishing. You know, their seeds were
So it made me think of two things. It made me think like, were they putting on because like they were in the spotlight? And did they feel pressure to put on? And it just made me think about like our marriage, like. At any point in time, like, did you feel like any pressure of like, this has gotta work?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I would say for a while, I felt like this has gotta work. Yeah. But I don't know. It's just like I think after we had Jackson, and you know, like 2017, how that year was for us.
Yes.
I honestly think after that, and after we like healed and we processed. Like now I'm just like, okay, it is what it is. Like it is going to work. Like it's still work, but it's just, it's different now. Like I don't feel that pressure. I genuinely don't even care. I think I felt pressure because I was worried about how others thought our relationship should be. But now I don't care what others think our relationship should be. I don't care what it's us.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's kind of like we're in a different stage in our marriage. Like it's like mature, you know? It's
you took the word right out of my mouth. That's what I was thinking too.
It's mature right now. And so it's just like, you know, we have goals. Like the goals now that we have, they're so intermingled and entangled. Like even though we do have our own separate lives, like who we are as a couple and as a family is just so intertwined. So we're just like, okay, like now we're hustling and bustling and it's together. And it's not like, we're not worried about like necessarily the outside. I mean, are we concerned about like our other family members and things like that? Yes, we are. But we're also concerned about, okay, what are we going to do to like get to that next step? What are we doing as a family? Like how are we going to move Jackson? How are we going to move us? Like, so it's just different. I don't feel pressure from the outside anymore. No. How about you?
No, I mean, I think because because I know that we're, to use a term, equally yoked. And we were meant to be together.
Yeah.
Even though we always had those people rooting for us to like have a great marriage, and you always hear about the cliche black love and all these things. But I think the pressure, not really the pressure, but the eagerness to not only make it work, but just make it flourish was, I mean, to be transparent, because bar men, like the men that have been closest to me, like that's something they kind of struggle with, was marriages. I mean, my mother and my father were divorced. About my brother and his marriage is not working out. So, and I'm a mama's boy. So
yes, you are.
I was like,
wait a minute. This has been so therapeutic because you've never really admitted you're a mama's boy.
I mean, come on.
Okay, didn't mean to cut you off and keep going. Whatever. Yeah.
So I wanted my mama to be like,
proud of me.
Yeah, proud of me. Like, there's a man like who understands, the importance of marriage, and so I I always had individuals who you have to have individuals who you kind of look up to.
Yep.
You don't necessarily have to model your life after them, but, take the good things, and observe and apply it to your own life. Mm-hmm. And I always talk about my three kings, and that's my grandfather, my Uncle Johnny, and my cousin Billy.
Yep.
I talk about them all the time, man. Really more so because my grandfather passed away when I was a teenager, but my Uncle Johnny and my cousin Billy more so, like seeing like how he and cousin Claudia interacted when they were older. I'm like, I want to get to that point in my life where I'm still very much in love and best friends with my spouse when I'm in my 60s and 70s. So just taking that and just understanding, seeing the bigger picture what this whole thing is about. That's what just really keeps me eager to like, I want to make sure that we are on the same page. We get this right.
Yeah.
And that we like each other.
That we like each other, yeah.
Because I don't want to be one of them couples, man. You see them how you know they don't like each other.
Yeah. And another thing I will say, and you know how you can like learn from other people, like seeing some of our peers get divorced.
Yeah, that's...
I think for whatever reason, I was just like, man, they're getting divorced. Like I kind of like took a step back because on the outside, looking in, I thought like everything was great. And so it just made me realize like, hey, worry about what y'all doing. Yeah. Worry about being authentic and pure with one another and not worry about anything else because I don't know, just seeing, did that kind of have an effect on you?
Yeah, it's heart-wrenching. Because, hey, like, dang, we're getting older. We're old enough to get divorced now.
Speak for yourself.
But because, that's the worst.
Yeah.
Like, and you never want to see somebody go through that. And how much time and energy you invest into this bond and this union and for it not to work out.
Yeah.
Like, golly.
You hurt for them. Like, we would hurt for them. Like, it would hurt. It hurt, and we all know every person's story is different. And so, if ultimately you do get a divorce, like, that happens. Yeah. But it just put things into perspective when you see it from your peers. It's almost like, also when you see like when someone passes away or something like that, you're like, dang, it puts your life into perspective. Yeah. So it just put marriage into perspective,
And also, not pressure, but one of the reasons why I want to put this image of us out here like a happy, in love couple is because like you have to have something to counteract like the narrative that's out there about how people are telling young people not to get married and sometimes going as far as not to date or you should never settle for anything less than that. And like, if we would have been young in today's times or met in today's times.
At our other age when we met, like our original age.
Like this may not have even existed.
That's true.
And it's scary. So you have to put that image out there to show people like, hey, marriage is great. You just really have to find the person who is really meant for you. You have to work at it.
You do.
And you have to allow each other to grow.
Yeah. Oh, that part, allow each other to grow. Because when you get married, the person that you are when you get married is definitely not the person that you are 9 years later, however long you've been together. So the growth is important in understanding while that person is going through growth. Because a lot of times you're growing at different speeds, like you're in those different sections of your life, so you have to be understanding. And I think that was a wonderful point about the growth aspect, because even in this year, even in the year of 2021, the different growing pains that we've gone through, and if you watch a person change and you just say, well, just because of the person they are now, you still have to kind of still like that person. Even if it's not 100% like what you think they should be, when that person changes and they're different, you still have to find something that you're still attracted to, or that you still are drawn to continually. And it comes in stages. You have to keep doing that. Like until, one of you takes your last breath, if you're able to stay together that long in a marriage. I also want to go back to something else you said. You were talking about how you felt the pressure of like wanting to stay together at the beginning, like wanting to stay together because like bar men, what has typically gone on. And I would say for my side, it was seeing the failed marriages and seeing like some of the hurt of the woman, like my mom, like she was married, and seeing all the pain and the hurt that happened with her. Yeah. Although I didn't see the pain from my grandmother, just hearing the stories of things of when she was with her husband, my grandfather. So when I got married as a woman, I was just like, man, is that going to be my story? Like, is my husband just going to not be like right, like something really, really, like a major flaw come out and something really go wrong. And at first I was like, I have to make this work just for that. Like we can make it. But now it's just like, we're going to make it because we're going to make it. It's not necessarily to prove anything to anyone because nobody's living our life. Yeah. Nobody's under this roof with us.
And it's crazy you said that because I think about that too. Yeah. Like I think about, your thoughts on the marriage, and like, this is gonna sound corny, but like to see you happy, like doing like wife things or mother things, like I like that. I like that my wife gets excited, like when we're all together playing games and doing stuff like that.
Because honestly, I always wanted that. Growing up in a single parent household, shout out to Linda, she did her thing. I always looked at like Family Matters, and saw them, standing around the piano and playing songs. So, like, I always wanted to be in a male, female with children, just around playing. Like, I always wanted that. So when we get the chance to like go to the beach, and now I'm like, we're like, okay, everything has to be perfect. Like, we have to have all the tents and the wagons. It's because it does bring me joy. Like, I'm like, this is my dream. It might not be others' dream, but like, I get to live my dream. I'm getting to do something that I always wanted to do. And I'm not going to take it for granted. And I am going to be excited, like when we do things as a family, because it does bring me joy. Yeah. And to know that we're having that model for Jackson, I also think about that because like we were talking the other day or the other week, and we were saying Jackson's now the age of like when we remember things. Like, so he's going to remember what we're doing, because when we were his age, when we were 4, we remember things. And so that's another thing that's exciting. Like, we want to make a life for him, like sitting at the dinner table, having conversations with him about what did you do at school? Like, that is exciting because we know eventually he's going to look back at that and that's going to help to mold him into the person that he's going to become.
Yep.
So
that's so crazy, man. Like, he's 4.
He's 4 and a half. He's about to be 5.
He's about to be 5. And I definitely remember like moments that my parents spent together. When I was his age. And the impact that it left on me. And good moments too. And I mean, they weren't all negative, and that is so valuable. And he's soaking. This is the age where he's soaking everything in, that window of time. So we're already painting a picture of how awesome a happy marriage can be and how beneficial it can be. So, I mean, that's so key. Did you ever have anybody, and maybe this is more so for guys, like tell you not to get married?
Kind of, sort of.
Oh, word.
Kind of, sort of.
Chill.
Yeah,
for real?
Kind of, sort of, yeah. Yeah, but I kind of, even though I went into that other thing, like, oh, this is what I always wanted, at the same time, I kind of thought I might have been like a single person, because I was just so headstrong.
You had the work ethic of a single person. What I was thinking, like, what category does Danessa go in? Because your drive, your work ethic is that of independent, the quote unquote modern day independent woman. Like, a woman like with your work ethic and drive is typically not married with a child.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Like, so how do you balance?
I'm two different people. to it. You know what? I have different personalities. You know, I'm a different person. Like, I'm the same person, but I'm a different person all at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know, Joe. I don't know. It's because it's something I want. Okay. So I want the career. I want to do that. I want a family. I want to do that. So if it's something that I want, I'm going to work for it.
Yeah.
So that's the only way I can really explain it. It's something I want. If I want it, I'm going to get it. I'm going to, you know that.
Oh yeah.
So
that's why, I mean, your image has to get out there because it's always portrayed as one or the other. You can't have both. You can't be a strong, successful woman who with a family, with a husband that, I hate using this term, but you know what I mean, like who can be submissive.
But you know what? But we submit to each other.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you're supportive. Like you are so supportive. And honestly, I couldn't be the person that I am if it weren't for you. Like I mean, I couldn't work like I do if it wasn't for you at all. Like to be able to come home at the time, like, and I get Jackson and we come home and you have dinner ready for us. I mean, I couldn't stay at work like that if you weren't doing that, Joe. So, I mean, I have to give you credit for what you do to allow me to do the things that I do. And not the sense of like you're giving me permission, just how you show your love and your care. Like you support me. So I couldn't do all of this if it weren't for you. I couldn't. Think about it today. What did I do? I picked up the phone and I called you and I was like, Joe, will you please pick up Jackson so I can stay at work a little bit longer? Mm-hmm. I couldn't have done that if it was not for you, you know? So like you have to realize what big role you play in my life to help me do this.
I appreciate that.
Because I couldn't do it if it weren't for you.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. The little I do, but
no, you do. Don't play yourself like that. You do a lot.
Yeah. But I mean, I see your drive, and it's like telling Michael Jordan that he's got to calm it down a little bit. Like, that's what I mean. Your work ethic, your drive, your want to be great so badly, like your determination. I see that in you, and I'm like, I cannot keep her from becoming what she has the potential to become. Like, and you have the potential to become something huge. So I see that. So whatever I can do, I'm going to do that to support you.
You do.
And I don't feel like, at the same time, I don't feel secondary, or I don't feel like a Scottie Pippen to you, Michael Jordan. I mean, I still feel.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah, I still feel like a man. I still feel masculine. I just like the person that you are, and I really want people to see that you can be strong, you can be passionate about your career, and at the same time, you can still be a loving wife and a loving mother, and who's just, you know, soft. And that's not a derogatory term.
I feel like
you understand what I'm saying? Like, you're not rough and tough.
Yeah,
like,
not all the
come
time.
home barking like you gotta do this, you gotta
no.
Like, I love that. We got to put that image out there to kind of counteract this narrative.
Yeah.
And I know several people like you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think we make a good team, though.
That's true.
I will say that we work well together. Mm-hmm. And I do think that's an important part to a relationship. Any type of relationship that you have to be able to work well together. And, you know, at times where you might need to be like, okay, I got to give a little bit more in this area. I got to take a little bit more in this area. Mm-hmm. That's important to kind of see and foster. Like, for instance, like, you know, when you, like right now, you are on your health kick, you are focused, you're not playing. So I already know, like, okay, when Joe say he need to get his meats, he needs different things, like make sure we have that. So you can be supported in that way. So I feel like teamwork and understanding one another.
Yeah.
I mean, at this, like, we've been together since we've been in college. And so although we have evolved, some of our core values have kind of always stayed the same. And so the drive, you've always seen that there. Is not anything that's, been different.
That's true.
So your health has always been there. It's not anything that's necessarily changed. You might have done different regimens and things like that, but that's something that's always been there. So it's important to see those characteristics in your partner and help to foster those. That's it. Yeah. That's it. When you see something in your partner, you help to foster it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, man. I mean, it's been a great journey. And to see like the process of where we were and to where we are, and individually, like where we were individually, to like where we are. It's been a great journey, and the time has really flown by. And at the end of the day, like all of the support, if you're in a marriage, all the support that you receive,
in a relationship.
Don't feel pressure. It's okay to feel that pressure, but don't feel the pressure to get it right. Use that energy as a positive. Like you have so many people rooting for you. Like that's an awesome thing. Like, and I think about it like on our wedding day, like how we had so many people and like the thoughts and the prayers of all those people who witnessed our marriage and witnessed us take our vows is probably the thing that's keeping us strong and together and so healthy, because that's a real thing. People don't understand there's power in that.
Listen, we're not going to church to get on this first episode back, but yes, that is real. That is real. Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah, so the three officiants, is that what they call?
Yeah.
And all the people, them all collect.
The three officiants, the 20 bridesmaids and groomsmen, the 250 people.
Yeah.
But it served us well.
Yes.
It did.
It did. It did. Even during these crazy times we're in. But it's awesome. So, second week of school down.
Ooh.
Jackson's second week down.
He's doing so great. He's doing awesome.
We're back in the swing of things. Podcast got back going strong. We're going to stay consistent.
Yeah. Consistency is key.
Yes.
And that's the thing. Like, we're not going to start something. Like, we both are the same. We're the same in this way.
Yes.
And when we started, we're going to keep on going with it.
Yes.
Like, we definitely are those people.
Yes.
So don't feel like, oh, they're teasing us. Like, they going to pull it back. No.
Promise you.
No. We have a plan.
Yes.
Y'all, Joe is so creative. Like, I know y'all saw the little like teaser. Like, he did all that. So, okay, can I just tell him this right quick?
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
So Joe was like, he was like, let me show you this. And he showed me the video of like the Martin graphics and all that. And I was like, man, that's dope. That's so dope. And okay, so we're sitting, that was after dinner. He showed me that. And so we're just sitting there. Of course, I'm working on my computer. He's over there. He starts working on the clips, y'all. Like, he just starts. And like, he makes our name look like the Martin font. And I'm like, how in the world? It didn't even take you long to do it. So when I tell you Joe is creative, he is so creative and smart.
Appreciate that.
Because that was so dope. And I hope y'all like it as much as we enjoyed. Well, yes. Joe enjoyed creating it.
That's something I have a passion for. I love creating.
You're good at it.
You know, everything happens for a reason. And like, one of the things I really love doing with the last podcast I was a part of, I love creating those little snippets and teasers. So I'm like, well, I can still continue to do that just in a different capacity. So I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope y'all enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed making it.
Oh, that was so, like, it's so nostalgic.
Yes. Yes. So awesome. So, well, we're going to wrap it up for our relaunch people episode. We will be back with y'all next week and the week after and the week after. We're going to keep it going. We're not going to stop. We love doing this. We appreciate the support. So until next time, thank you for listening to the Jonessa Podcast.
Conversations from the Couch.
We'll see you next week.
Bye, y'all.